Hey guys, it's Pelli. I hope you're having a great day. In this video, we will be discussing Coco Chanel iconic Chanel suit that changed fashion. Timestamp is in the video description. I'll be making a fashion topic video on this channel, so subscribe if you're interested. I hope you enjoy. Fashion comes and goes, but Chanel has stood the test of time. In the early 1920s, Chanel introduced a perfume that would become known as the ultimate fashion accessories, and later revolutionized the little black dress to what it is today. But no fashion item has impacted the world like the Chanel suit did. The Chanel suit helped free women from restricting clothing and challenge social norms by combining femininity and masculinity to create something that became a representation of liberation through fashion.
Mais je ne crois pas à la copie, je crois à l'imitation. C'est déjà bien beau d'être arrivé à l'imitation.
C'est plus important même.
Mais même ce qui est le plus important, la copie.
Gabrielle Bonheur Chanel was born in 1883 in France. Chanel grew up very poor, and when her mother died, her father sent her, along with her sister, to an orphanage where she learned to sew. At age 18, she was sent to a boarding house for Catholic girls and soon found a job working as a seamstress. When she wasn't working, she sung at a cabaret where she was given the name Coco because of the song Who Have Seen Coco. But later in life, she often liked to say the name was given to her by her father. This is one important thing to know about Chanel. She would tell the stories from her childhood differently, glamorizing certain events to appeal to her brand and customers. When she was 23, Chanel became the mistress of a French ex-cavalry officer and textile heir, where he introduced her to the rich life. She later began an affair with Boy Chappelle and was his mistress until his death. In 1913, he helped her open her own boutique and it became very successful. Now established, Chanel mingled with the most wealthy and powerful aristocrat. Even though the business was very lucrative, in 1939, she closed her shop down at the beginning of World War II, and Chanel resided at Hotel Ritz. During the German occupation in France, Hotel Ritz was the place for upper echelon German military staff. She had a relationship with a German diplomat and was later revealed to be a Nazi spy. When the war was over, Chanel was spared arrest and trial and fled to Switzerland to escape the backlash from the French people. She didn't return to the fashion world until she was in her 70s and ultimately reopened her shop after 15 years of closing down. Her comeback collection received criticism from the French press, but she still found success overseas from the American. She continued to work until she passed away at 87 years old, leaving behind an important legacy in fashion.
One shouldn't live alone. It's a mistake. I used to think I had to make my life on my own, but I was wrong. I've got nothing. I am alone with my millions.
Yet despite her lifelong search for love, Coco Chanel had risen to the top in a male-dominated world to create a style of clothing that had changed the face of women's fashion.
The Chanel suit was first introduced in the early 1920s at a small fashion show in Paris. While she was in retirement in Switzerland, Chanel took notice of how French fashion was changing after the war, and she did not like the new look that was introduced by Christian Dior. She thought the new look was going against everything she achieved and believed in. She was quoted saying, "Dior doesn't dress women, he upholsters them." Chanel was convinced that fashion needed to ditch the new look and move to a more practical approach. She soon returned to Paris and presented her comeback collection featuring the Chanel suit. While it was criticized by the French press, Chanel won the American working woman over with her practical yet luxury Chanel look. Chanel always wanted to free women from restricted corsets and long skirts. Taking and combining both femininity and masculinity, she recreated the Chanel suit, which was the first suit of its kind to be made specifically for women. The style of the suit was inspired by French menswear. The suit consisted of a colorless jacket and a well-fitted skirt that stopped at the knee. Chanel's use of the tweed fabric was a breakthrough. She was able to feminize the material using menswear by combining new colors, material, and texture to the then underutilized fabric. The jacket was designed without shoulder pads and there were no darts at the bust line, and was accessorized with buttons and useful pockets. A delicate chain was sewn in the silk lining to ensure that the jacket falls perfectly. The Chanel suit provided freedom of movement, was comfortable and luxurious all at the same time. It became a national success. Fashion press acclaimed the style, and the Chanel suit was featured on many magazine covers worldwide. The Chanel suit became part of history when First Lady Jackie Kennedy historically wore a pink Chanel suit the day when her husband, JFK, was tragically assassinated. She set out to do, and the Chanel suit made a mark on fashion that will never be forgotten. Karl Lagerfeld took over Chanel in the 80s. He had much respect for Chanel and its brand identity and wanted it to move to a more modern approach. At the beginning, Lagerfeld made slight changes to the Chanel suits before twisting, transforming, and even challenging the more conservative aspect of Chanel. Lagerfeld was a true innovator who saw how the changing of the world was affecting fashion and what the Chanel suit had to do to stay relevant. He defied expectation and made the Chanel suit truly a timeless piece. The 80s were about big hair, big shoulder, and big colors. As women began to grasp newfound social and sexual freedom, so did Chanel. Lagerfeld remained true to the Chanel suit though, as he gave it a minor facelift, updated it to the current moment in fashion with the adjustment of the shoulder, patterns, and fabric with the latest accessories. The 90s is the decade that belonged to the supermodels. The supermodels were the muses and they gave new meaning to what they wore on the runway. Lagerfeld drew inspiration from these supermodels and they changed the Chanel suits forever. The mini jacket, mini top, mini skirt would become another timeless version of the Chanel suit. Matching bralette, chain belt, and pearl necklaces will also become a staple for the brand. Throughout both the 2000s and 2010s, Lagerfeld has kept the Chanel suit alive. The Chanel suit became denim in new vibrant color and even 3D printed and has evolved into so many different variations. Karl Lagerfeld once said, "Chanel created the very idea of contemporary." More than 60 years later, the Chanel suit is able to adapt to different eras and daring transformation. It has inspired countless designers while empowering women. Chanel is remembered and became a symbol for luxury fashion brand. The Chanel suit purpose was to be comfortable, practical, and luxurious for women, and it achieved that throughout different decades and alterations. While trends come and go, the Chanel suit will always be a timeless piece that everyone wants to wear once in their lifetime. The legacy is truly undeniable. Thank you for watching. This is the end of the video, but please comment on what you think about the Chanel suit or the brand, like if you found this video informative, and subscribe for more fashion topic video. I'm Pelli, I love fashion. I'll see you next time. Bye!